Stop doing that. And we are now live on Facebook. Welcome everybody to Brace Yourself. I am Rosanne Sorrentino.
Chris Grando
And our special guest today, she's going to be here for the whole show. You know her as Judy, fan favorite Judy.
Hello.
So we will have Judy's gems later, but because of the nature of our guests today, I thought it's only appropriate that you're here, even though I told you earlier to go wait in the living room.
unacceptable.
It is.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has
I do like that you're now with Rosanne. So what is going on here now? Like, you were with Amy.
Yes.
Yes. No, I'm home. I'm home.
She's out of quarantine.
I'm home.
Okay. We're out of quarantine. Everything is good.
Everything was good. Yes.
All right.
I didn't want to overstay my welcome.
You know what day? What is that? I mean, what do you think that is in terms of months? 3, 2?
It was going into the 3rd month, and I figured, they've had enough of me. They were getting ready to put me back in the basement. That's where I originally was until I hurt myself.
In the basement.
And then I couldn't, navigate the stairs. I took a header on the crutches, of course, into the bathroom. Boom, head first.
Down you went.
First.
Yeah.
And so I had to stay upstairs, till I healed. But then I kind of liked it up there.
There you go. And you just stayed.
So I
She
stayed.
stayed. So
Why wouldn't she, by the way?
what?
Why wouldn't she?
Of course. And now here we are. Grando, what do you think of the studio?
I like the studio. I love the Brace Yourself sign.
Yep.
You ladies have a libation?
Oh, we do. Of course we
And
do.
Cheers.
I
Let's
might
do
fall asleep. Keep it interesting, because I might fall asleep between the wine and the comfy chair. This is so comfortable. You'll have to try it.
Yes. All right. So I need to say hello to a few people because Roger Bells, I think, was a little insulted last week when we didn't give him the shout out. And Peter Storch and Michael Fenster and Mary Rose is watching, and a bunch of other people. So that's pretty exciting.
Storch, wasn't he with the monkeys?
No.
That was F Troop.
Oh,
F Troop.
but it's a famous name.
So okay. So Chris,
What's our famous names?
I know you're a little nervous today.
I'm definitely.
Yes, this is big time.
Yes.
Every week, I'm learning, I'm meeting new people, and then I find out like fascinating stuff because I try to do my homework, and this
Yep.
week pretty intense. I was like, whoa, this is some heavy hitters here.
Yes. So tonight our guests are premier New York City talent agents, have 30 plus years of experience in the business. Just one of the most respected in the industry. Definitely. We have Nancy Carson and Bonnie Deroski of Carson Adler Agency. Nancy was my agent when I was a youngin', and we're going to talk to them about what that's like, and this is for all you parents out there who think your kids got it.
You're the kid's the one. This is it.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out.
Yeah, well, Nancy will tell you. She will tell you. She will not sugarcoat it, but that's good because you need somebody like that who's not gonna, tell you they could get you the moon and the stars, and then nothing happens.
Right.
So that is that's what we're doing tonight. We're gonna obviously have Judy's gems.
If we don't go over.
If we,
What's the over?
there's always room for Judy's gems. Don't worry.
I can save it for
Now-
another time.
Now, Chris, I have a little bad news for you.
Go ahead.
My sister's dog, Oliver Dave,
Yes.
has a TikTok account.
Oh gosh.
My granddaughter.
He already has 14 followers and 500 views.
He's cute. He's adorable.
So you need to
With
step
dogs,
up.
I can't. No.
Let's see, wait a minute, Chris, can you howl? Because he does. He howls.
Well,
And I think that's the trick.
I have 3 followers. I'm sorry, I have 5 followers.
not to be outdone, Lola now has a TikTok account.
Oh, geez. You guys,
Now I have to manage 2 TikTok accounts. Like, I have that kind of time.
I was going to say, some people need to get back to work.
All right, let's get on.
So
with
we're
it
going to get on with
because
it.
who cares
So
about TikTok?
just a couple of things. So everybody knows, we will be taking next week off.
Well,
There will
hi,
be no brace yourself next Thursday. So Judy, you're off the hook.
Oh,
You don't have to come up with a gem. However, I'm going to do some shameless plugging before we bring on Nancy and Bonnie. I will be doing a live virtual comedy show tomorrow night. The link and all the information is on my Facebook page. And then next week on Wednesday, June 3rd, I'll be doing another Zoom broadcast with the other Annie orphans, and it's a Q&A, and it will be benefiting the Actors Fund. So you'll be able to, all that information is also on my page, and you'll be able to go on and ask questions. There'll be a moderator, we'll get your questions answered, and you can make donations to the Actors Fund to help all of the actors who are not working right now during this time.
That would include you.
No, I'm still working. I have a job, so I would never take advantage of that. But and everything's on my social media. So without further ado, Chris, I kind of hogged that. You got anything you want?
Yeah. See me at my house on Wednesday to Thursday. So that's
Okay.
pretty much.
All right. So without further ado, I'm going to start the video for Nancy and for Bonnie. And we'll give them a second to, there's Bonnie and there's Nancy. Welcome.
Hello.
Exciting.
Hello.
It's so good to see you guys.
Oh, it's good to see you.
It's been a while. Bonnie, it's been a while since I've seen you.
Very long time. Yes. I think you've seen Nancy more recently, but
I did.
Yeah.
You look the same as you looked forever.
Oh, go on. No, really.
Oh.
Go on. Well, good genes. Look who I came from.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Judy, you look the same too.
Thank you. So do you. I never forgot.
Oh, thank you. The compliments are flying.
See you in your office, at your desk, in the chair, turning around, talking to me. I mean, it's like it was yesterday.
Well, Mom, do you want to tell that story? That was we were starting to talk about it before when you called Nancy.
Well, when she did get the part, Martin Charnin, the director, we were all backstage and he motioned to us, and I thought to myself, here it comes. He took us down into the main part of the theater, and he said to her, do you want to be my Annie? And normally, I guess a mother would have went, oh, yay! And I went, I have to fly.
Oh, God, I have to.
So beside myself. At that point, I was not a good flyer. I really wasn't. So anyway, so that was the beginning of my nerves. And I never felt that way. The last time I felt like that was when I had postpartum depression.
Would you get to the point?
Well, wait a minute. After I had her, your world turns upside down, right? And my world did turn upside down. I felt very out of control. And I was given 3 names to call, 3 agents, you being one of them. You were the first one to call me back. And from there, it was history. You calmed my nerves. You were very reassuring. And then we made an appointment to come in to visit with you. And we did. And it was much better then, much better. But, not really being in the profession. I mean, she was green. She was fresh off the boat.
I knew.
Well, I knew nothing what to expect,
Yeah.
So
we got that.
you needed an agent and a good agent. So, and I had one.
Thank you. Well, it was fun. It was a good ride, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was. Oh, it's Nancy, somebody here, Cynthia Moser, somebody who follows me, she saw me in Salt Lake City in 1981. Isn't that funny?
Wow.
Wow. Well,
So,
you saw
But-
you down in Dallas at the fairgrounds.
mhm,
I was down there for the opening.
yeah,
Because if you remember, all those girls, you and all the orphans were my clients in that particular company. I
That-
rarely did that, but I did on this one.
yeah, that was a great one for you. You had all the
I
kids.
will never forget the big cowboy there at the entrance to the fairgrounds and the, beautiful theater. That was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it was. It was beautiful.
That was
But,
I will never forget that. I don't remember a lot, obviously, because I was 11, but there are certain things that I definitely remember, and that Dallas, the opening night,
Yeah.
is like burned in my memory.
And
But go ahead.
I think that you guys rode that sky ride at
I
the,
wouldn't let her.
no, you didn't, but didn't it get stuck or something? Yes, while you were there. And I think somebody that I represented was on it when it got stuck.
Yes, one of the kids was on it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I
but it wasn't me.
That's freaky.
But, yeah.
So, but I'm just one child of the thousands, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands.
No, probably thousands. I mean, we aren't huge, so I don't have tons, but
I don't know.
Many-
I just feel like every time I turn around, there's a kid doing something, and somehow you guys are part of it. But so you know what I don't know about you, Nancy?
yeah.
I don't know. How did you get involved in this industry?
Well, I kind of, through Bonnie, really, I talked my way in. Bonnie had wanted to act as a child, and we had a community theater near us, a fairly decent, it was one step up from a community theater. They brought in some professional people, and she kept running around the corner to this theater and doing whatever they'd let her do, whether it was get in a show or give out programs or work at the candy counter, whatever, just to be there. And she was cast in several things, including a show called Wait Until Dark. And the director for that was a man who you might remember from All My Children. His name was Mark Lemura. He played Mark Dalton. He played Susan Lucci's brother.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh,
Years.
Actually, classic.
you
Okay,
did watch it, Chris?
I used to.
right. Well, he was the
Everybody.
director. And after Bonnie had been doing it, he came to me and he said, I think that she could do something more than this. I think that she could be working professionally. And Judy, you'll recognize this feeling. I went, oh. And
She did this huge background check on him before she even entertained the idea.
Yeah, I
did.
did background on you.
And so but basically initially I said, I don't think so. This wasn't what we had been looking for. And Bonnie did what girls that age do, which you'll recognize, Rosanne. She basically cried all night long and said, I'll never forgive you, and this is all I've ever wanted. And
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. And I went, all right, but I get to say no at any point. And he said, well, I want to take her to meet an agent. I said, fine, you take her. I'm not going. They're not going to want her, and this is going to be terrible. And it's not what we want. Well, of course, he took her and they wanted her, and there we were. As we got into it, I found that it was a combination of two things. I needed to find a job because I was going through a divorce, and I didn't really like the people that were representing Bonnie. I didn't think that the agents back then, they kind of did it in addition to everything else, and they didn't really understand young people. And I had worked a lot with young people in various ways. And I thought, I think I can do this better than they're doing it. I think this could be a career for me. So I talked one of the agents that I knew into hiring me, and I agreed to not take a salary, but just take a percentage of the percentage, because I had a divorce agreement that gave me extra money for a couple of years to get started, because I had no career. I hadn't done anything. I was married right out of college and did nothing. So so he gave me a percentage of the percentage, and basically what we quadrupled the business in a couple of years. And I went, well, I guess I really can do this. And you met me
Can I ask one question?
when I first started. That's how I got into it.
When you started like that, how did you have to go out and recruit kids? Did you
Yes,
go look, or did they come to you? How did
pageants, I went to wherever they were performing. I mean, I went to those pageants where there's all the kids in the pink foam rollers, who never take rollers out unless they're going on stage, and all those mothers and all that. Yeah, because I had no
there was you had no backlog, so you had to go out and kind of make your own backlog, right?
Right. Exactly. So I went out, but I'm fortunate. I have a good ear. I can hear music, and I guess I have a good eye, and I was able to pick and find some pretty good kids. And then as I started doing it, people started learning that I had good kids. And I was also very careful about the mothers that I took on. You may not know this part, Judy, but if you had been one of those crazy mothers, I probably would have said, maybe there's another agency you want to take a look at. Because and even then I've had crazy mothers.
See, I was the only mother that was told, you can't go in there. I said, but I have to go get my daughter. No, you're not allowed in there. And
Yeah, right.
Austin Collier, who played the butler.
I remember him.
Yeah, he saw me like practically crying, and
Yeah.
he took me and he said, he yelled at the doorman and he said, she's a mother, let her in, but I
Right.
could not fight for myself. Never.
Well, this happened after Annie, but there was a situation, because they used to let mothers backstage. They didn't have guardians. And there was a situation where there was a mother that was there were two situations in the same family. The little girl and one of the other girls, and it was in Les Mis. I'll tell the story. Okay, got in trouble.
Come on.
Got in trouble because they decided that they would pee into a plastic cup and pour it into the coffee urn.
Oh,
And the actors drank the coffee.
Oh,
So that was half of it. And the other half was that this girl who I represented, mother, was very loud backstage, so loud that the audience could hear her. And backstage and be screaming. So they decided they had to get a guardian for these two girls because they had way too much time on their hands. If you remember Les Mis, the little girl's only in a small part of the show, and they had a lot of time on their hands. So they hired a guardian, and that worked so well that other shows started doing the same thing. And now it's a given. There are always backstage guardians, and parents aren't allowed backstage after half.
we weren't allowed backstage during the performances. This was after the
Right, but this was half hour. They're not allowed backstage even at half hour, Judy. Now you drop them off at the stage door.
Yeah, well, that's
And
what
can't go until after the show, and then they drop them back to you at the stage door.
me. That was fine.
Yeah, it's a much better way because there really were kids having issues. And if you have a mother, some mothers will be good and be fair, and other mothers won't be so fair. So it's really actually a very good situation. But I'm embarrassed to say it's my client who triggered that whole situation to start.
I had no idea.
But the movie was entirely different.
Well, I don't tell all these stories all the time.
You
One of my stories.
Did you catch flack from like the director or whoever was there? Did they like blame you? Like, you got to control your client? Did they ever
The
do
phone
that?
call, yeah, the phone call I got. I mean, he said, sit down. I have something to tell you. And it was a frightening phone call. What do you say? So, I had to call the mother, who was very loud and very upset and in denial at first. And I said, look, you can't deny it. She's saying she did it. The other girl's saying she did it. It happened.
So how do you learn? Because looking for talent, people think, oh, you're an agent, you deal with talent, and that's it. And how do you? Well, first of all, you wrote the book Raising a Star.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yep.
that's how I actually knew that, Bonnie, you had something to do with getting your mother into this crazy business. Because
Yes. Yeah, I totally did.
So I want to talk about that, and then I have a question for you, Bonnie. With Raising a Star, in 2005, that was published. I think it said.
I think, or 7. Yeah, something like that.
So why did you want to write this book, and how much has changed, do you think, since the time it was published?
Well, I wanted to write it because there are so many parents out there who want their children to be able to do this, and kids who want to do it, and they haven't got a clue how to go about it. And I felt that we needed to get the word out on how to do it and how to do it right. I must tell you, I don't like the title of the book. I've said this often. St. Martin's Press insisted that I had to use that title. My title was How to Be a Stage Mother Without Being a Stage Mother, which is really much more what it's about. It's how not to mess your child up in this. So the basic tenets of the book haven't really changed since I wrote it. Some of the process of getting a job has changed because we're so much more electronic now. Submissions are electronic. We don't have files full of pictures, that sort of thing. But basically, the child who should do it, the parent who should do it, how to, go about handling your child, keeping them safe, keeping them healthy, all of that is the same. And it's still in print. I always expect that they're going to take it out of print, and they never do because it keeps selling. So that's how I ended up writing it. I just really felt there was a need. I watched so many people doing it wrong.
Well, and clearly you're not doing it wrong because you've been doing it for so long. And Bonnie, I wanted to ask you, I know how you got started, right? And how long do you think, how long did you work? And then at what point did you say, because people always ask me all the time, why did you stop acting? At what point did you decide maybe you didn't want to do it anymore, or what was that process for you?
So I started at, I guess I was 13, but I looked like I was 8, literally. And that's when you talk about people not representing people well, I have to tell the story of the audition. They would send me on these commercial auditions, which, first of all, I was a theater actress, but they'd send me on commercial auditions where these girls were 14 years old and had boobs. And here I was, this like size 6X dress kid coming in there going, I am in the wrong place. So that was the genesis of it. I worked quite a bit until I was about 20, I believe. And then I moved to Michigan and thought I was going to work from Michigan, but the only things they do are car shows and Kmart. So there wasn't a whole lot for me to be doing out there, but I did travel back to New York and do quite a few small roles on films at that point. I kind of just sort of eased out of the business in terms of acting, but I have to say, I had an experience that was really difficult for me. I played in a production of a show through an organization called Plays for Living. And I don't know if they still exist or not, but they do plays about relevant topics for high school students, and they go into school systems. And I played a pregnant teenager who was being schooled by an older girl who had also been pregnant as a teenager, but was African American. And we went into primarily African American New York City schools. And we were supposed, part of the job was to do talk back. But my character got ridiculed through the entire show because I was a stupid white girl who didn't know enough to not get pregnant.
Wow.
So it was hard for me. And I think that just I wasn't emotionally mature enough to handle the responsibility of that, even though I could handle the role. So that had a big impact on me in terms of my decision to sort of not be working anymore. And life just took its own little way of going. And, and I did some community theater in Michigan and circled back to New York when my mom's partner died, when Carson Adler died. I said, can I help you in some way? And I said, I'd always be there for you if you need me. And so I ended up coming back. I had worked at the office. I mean, I specifically remember coaching you sitting in the windowsill at J&J for some TV thing.
Hey, that was, yeah.
That was hysterical. But, I had done some stuff around the office. I'd done some coaching. I'd done some answering phones. And then I came back in and I was running the commercial department for our agency for the longest time. And then the strike happened and that whole industry changed. And so we kind of morphed my job into something different from what it was. So now we work as a team, partnering together Nancy basically chooses the talent, and then we work together on the submissions and I handle all the administrative stuff. So it's a real balance.
Hey, Bonnie, can I ask you a question, Bonnie?
Sure.
So for you people that are watching, if you don't know the movie The Burning, okay, back in early in the 80s, this has become kind of a cult classic, right?
It's a cult classic. I've actually signed autographs for that stupid movie.
Unbelievable. So I didn't realize that I had seen that, God knows. And then the people that are in that with you,
Yes.
it's Jason Alexander,
Holly Hunter, who I had more lines than.
Brian Backer, who was the next year was in Fast Times.
Yes.
Mark Ratner. Unbelievable cast. Crazy, gory stuff. How did you deal with that? Talk about the heavy, crazy, and as a mom.
Wait. See, the kicker of the whole thing is so it's not only is it, and Rick Wakeman from Yes wrote the soundtrack. So it's this crazy movie that the director was British, and I think he came into New York and the casting director was an extra work casting director. She wasn't a regular film casting director. So I think they had fresh eyes or something. And that's why they ended up with all these people that were new to film, but were really, really strong actors. But the kicker of it all in the end is that Harvey Weinstein was the producer. That was the first film he and his brother produced.
I was going to get there. But
sorry, I killed it.
Oh, it's great. It's unbelievable. When I was looking at this and I was doing some research, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable.
So I did some major theater work with Shirley Knight and Rex Robbins and F. Murray Abraham. And this silly movie is the thing that is the biggest deal I ever did.
Unbelievable. Cropsey. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It's great stuff. I mean,
no, it
who
was.
knew that you'd be acting with George Costanza? Who knew at that point, right?
You didn't know either.
No, right, Nancy?
Yeah.
And we're going to fly you to, before this whole COVID thing started, they were going to fly you to Germany to do some sort of a signed autographs thing, right?
Oh, no kidding.
I go to these stupid. No, that's stupid. They're good. They're wonderful, and they're really nice people that are very into horror movies. And I go and I sign autographs for them. And it's because of the nature of the talent that's in the movie, it's really hard to get signed posters and things, and it's sort of this cult classic like Friday the 13th. But you try getting Jason Alexander or Holly Hunter's autograph. It's really hard. So they take me, who had 3 lines, and they're happy about it.
And they're happy about it.
You weren't on the raft. You weren't on the raft.
I wasn't. I survived. I was ready for the sequel.
You were, see?
Yes, I remember reading that. You were like, I was actually happy because if there's a sequel,
I'm in it.
I want to see. Christy Coombs is saying hello.
Hey, Christy. One
Yeah.
of my Annies, another one of my Annies who started out as a Molly.
Yes.
When she got Annie, she was too little to do the Annie thing where she picks Molly up and carries her to her bed.
Uh-huh.
She couldn't pick Molly up, so she had to walk Molly to her bed in that
Oh my gosh.
one scene.
Do you have anyone in the original Broadway production?
No, I actually hadn't quite started as an agent, but 2 clients, well, Bonnie almost was,
I was second for the role of Pepper. Thank you very much.
and then she
Peppers
grew.
unite. And then they kept calling me back, and I grew out of the show. So, but Robin Finn's great, and I love her.
You would
And
have been
so,
a good Pepper, though. You would have been a really good Pepper.
Oh
yeah,
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 right. Just grew.
yeah. And they went with Robin. I mean, I think it was all. I think I look similar to Janine, and I think they were trying. Robin with the red hair and the whole thing. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, she ended up doing it, and I didn't, which is cool.
I know. And listen, the only time in my life I've ever been tall is when I was Pepper in the movie. So, kids, my students will say to me, Miss, you were so tall in that movie. What happened? And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I actually probably just stopped growing at that point.
Yeah. We had to work hard to get you that part in the movie.
Yes, I know. And when I spoke with Billy, he told me the whole backstory of how they didn't want anybody associated with the play.
Right, exactly.
Part of the movie. So Billy was really surprised when I kind of like.
Yep.
Well,
Hey,
Well,
they-
I kept introducing you because they weren't really finding Pepper, and I kept saying, Rosanne is it, Rosanne is it, and we finally made it happen. That was a story, and that was amazing.
Tell that one.
you audition.
I went to a couple of days of shoot on that, including I went out to Monmouth University, which was Monmouth College then, where they filmed the whole Warbucks home.
Yeah.
And all of that. I went down there for a couple of days and visited. That was amazing when they had the elephants and everything right on the.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was great. But I'll never forget when I went for the audition and they called my name and I said, here I am. And they said, what role are you here for? And I said, I'm auditioning for Pepper. Oh, no. Oh, Mr. Houston would never pick you. You're too pretty. And then I got the part. So
Yep.
What does that mean?
As I said, they weren't finding their Pepper, and I
Ugly
look
children.
Rosanne again. You got, and I think I even remember saying to you, "Don't do yourself up when you go back in. Don't look too good."
I guess I didn't.
We really worked at it to get that one.
No,
Yeah.
It just happened so fast.
You know what else I remember is those dressy costumes that you had were so beautiful. They were those handmade dresses and they were gorgeous.
At the end?
At the end.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Gorgeous. I mean, I don't know what happened to those. They were beautiful, beautiful with little pearl buttons.
I must have kept
Beautiful.
that sailor suit, but
Yep.
So,
Well, can I ask a question,
oh,
Nancy?
sure.
Sure.
Well, there was a time after the whole Annie thing, you sent her up for, so many auditions, and she was always the also ran, Do you
Mhm.
think at that time, if the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and all those, kid TV shows, do you think she would have been right for one of those? Or would
Maybe. You know what happened though? You went through puberty. And so, and at that point, they can hire somebody over 18 to play the age that you were looking. And that saves a bunch of money. And that's why it's very hard once you go through puberty to have anything happen. Now, as you say, maybe Nickelodeon or Disney Channel would have been different. They do tend to hire people who are not over 18. They
Right.
can.
Yeah.
The industry has changed a little bit too, in as much as that in between age, that 13 to 15 age, is now a marketable age where it wasn't at the time.
Right. For
Yeah.
instance, we're doing a movie of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which is absolutely about that tween age, that age of girls going through puberty. Before it was sort of something that they just didn't. Once you did, it was very hard to get hired. So that's the story, Judy. It was really a very, very difficult time for kids.
Yeah, well, it wasn't as, bountiful the way it is today.
Right.
I mean, there's
Right. Oh,
nothing
well,
much
the number
in-
of productions we have now. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Netflix and Prime and Amazon,
Exactly. It's a whole different world.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I also said it's timing. Everything is timing in show business, and
Yeah. Yeah. And you did that wonderful play. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. When you
What?
were
Sacraments.
Sacraments, that's right.
Yes,
That-
when I played a 7-year-old.
Right.
I was 15.
You were 15, right? I remember that.
I remember sitting in the audience, and somebody in back of me said, "That little one is so good." I thought to myself, she's almost 16.
Yeah. Well, I'll never forget. I have to tell a story on Bonnie. When she was doing that show, Wait Until Dark, the little girl in that has a really foul mouth. And at one point in the show, she says to the other character, "Well, I know some dirty words too, you know." And a woman in the audience yelled out, "Oh, I hope she doesn't say them." Because she looked real tiny at that
Back
point.
then, yeah, and you didn't, kids now, forget it, even in movies.
Very different now, yeah. Very
So,
different.
what would you say right now to a parent, Nancy, besides buy the book, which you should buy the book if you are a parent who is serious about it, but what would you say, like, the number one thing or one or two things that they should be aware of or look for or be honest about when it comes to their child?
Most important is make sure that it's your child who wants it and not you. Make sure that your child is the one bringing you to my office, not you bringing your child. It really has to be self-motivated by the kids because there is so much rejection. Make sure that your child can handle rejection because it is a business of rejection. Only one person gets the part. And so that they have to have a good time with the process, not just with getting the part. That they have to enjoy meeting the other kids who like doing it, which for kids who want to do this is really a wonderful thing.
Mhm.
And they have to be okay with not getting the part. And the closer you get to a part, and Ro, you know this, the closer you get, the harder it gets. Because first you go and there may be 200 kids being seen. Then they narrow it down to maybe 40. And then they narrow it down to 3 or 4. And that's when, and you just can taste it. You just feel like it's yours. And then you don't get it. And it is really, really hard for kids who have trouble with rejection.
Well, I remember when I met Al Pacino, I did that audition with him,
Right.
author, and it was, I think it was just between me and the girl who got it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was like,
Yeah, I had a couple of kids who did that, but you didn't get it. You weren't one of those. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it was very short, very, very short, if you remember. And I think size came into it. But yeah, it's really hard when you get very close. So you have to make sure your child can handle the rejection of not getting on the team at school or not, getting picked to be a cheerleader or whatever. If they can't handle that kind of rejection, they're not going to handle the rejection this business gives them. They have to be good at school because you do have to still do schoolwork. Kids think, they're going to get out of school. Oh no, they're still going to go to school. It's just like right now with COVID, they're going to school. Well, when you're doing a show, you're tutored and you are expected to do your work. And in order to get a work permit, you have to have decent grades. Not only do you have to have a doctor's okay that you're healthy enough to do it, but you have to have something from your school saying that they get permission for you to do it and that you're okay in school. So all of that goes into it. I think being small for your age definitely and young looking for your age definitely helps. Somebody who's 10 and looks like they're 14 is not going to do well because they're going to be up against real 14-year-olds and older 16 or 17-year-olds who look 14. It's going to be very difficult for them to compete. So I mean, it's a competition. As I tell the kids, if you think about it like the Olympics, there's always a gold medal, a silver medal, and a bronze medal, and they all get to stand up there in that stand and have everybody screaming and cheering for them. Well, in our business, there's no silver medal or bronze medal. There's only the gold medal. And so nobody even knows if you, like you said, you almost got author. I didn't remember that you almost got author until you said that to me. Because nobody remembers who came in second or third.
Exactly.
And yet that's a big deal because they started out with 200 and you got down to 2 or 3. That's amazing. You know, that's it. Good. That's it.
But it
That's
is
not the bunch. You're really good. You just aren't exactly what they wanted. And sometimes exactly what they want. Again, I say, maybe you look like somebody the director hated when they were in 5th grade. There's all kind. You're an inch too tall, short. Your eyes are dark. Your eyes, you know, it's like crazy things that at the end keep you from getting apart. And
So
you have.
I have a question for both Bonnie and you, Nancy. So when you have a kid, like let's say Rosanne, who didn't get the part, and they come to you, like, how do you comfort them? How do you convince them? Look, like you said, so you may be reminded. You got to keep going. You got to. Do you know how to handle that? You're almost kind of like their crutch in a way, or their secondary mom.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I am kind of like another mom in many ways. What I say, Chris, when they come down to that final audition, and maybe I said it to you back in the day, when you're like down to 3 or 4, I say, I want you to remember how this feels today, how proud of yourself you are, how good it feels because you know you got this close. If you don't get it, still feel that good about yourself because you did that well. You beat out all those other kids. That means you're good. You just weren't right for this part. And you have to be okay with that because there'll be another part where you are just right for it. That's the best I can do. And just feel proud of yourself that you got where you got.
And that's such a huge thing that I think makes your agency stand out from other agencies, is that human piece of it, where it's not just the business. You know, you care about, I mean, look at 40 years later,
Yeah.
you know, and we're still in contact or connected, however it was, whether it's through Facebook in the beginning or whatever. But I think that speaks volumes for you as an agent in a very, what could be very cold business.
You're all family to me. I mean, you really are. And I don't forget my clients. I have people come back and say, do you remember me? Well, of course I remember you. You're all really, if I didn't like you that much, I wouldn't have taken you on. When I'm taking people on, they're becoming part of our family. And so I do hear from many former clients.
And their parents.
Yeah. I mean, I have a
Hearing from
relationship with Britney Spears' mom, Lynn Spears. You know, we're friends. Whenever she comes to New York, we go to dinner. Matt Damon's mom calls me occasionally. Nancy Carlson. She has almost the same name as me. You know, you can't work with somebody that closely and not feel some sort of bond. I cannot. Maybe other people can. I cannot. I have to really care about the people that I take on.
So speaking to that, do you get mad if a child doesn't get that part? And you think that was the right part? Do you ever like say, "What are you guys thinking?" Like, how do you guys?
Yeah, I do. If I really think they're wrong and I don't understand the reasoning behind it,
right.
I do get mad. I do say, you're wrong. You know, I have to say, respectfully speaking, you're wrong. And sometimes they come back around. You never know. No? Crazy business. It's a crazy business.
Right, yeah.
Bonnie, did your children ever show an interest in performing?
My daughter went to stage door from the age 11 till she was 18.
Stage door is a performing
Stage
arts.
door manor is a camp for theater, and she is she's gorgeous, but she is the things you're not supposed to be, which is mature for your age and very tall. So she did do a few auditions and had some callbacks, but it was difficult for her. And so she kind of did her creative stuff at camp. She sang in the a cappella group in high school. So she, she took voice lessons and all of that. My son played basketball and
He's also
who's also very tall, is always very surprised when he leaves a theater piece that we bring him to that he actually liked it. So he is not wants to be an actor. Although I'm dying to get him to see Hamilton because I think he'd love it.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shelley's just shy of 6 feet, and by the time she was old enough to audition for Lion King, she was too tall for Lion King.
Yeah.
So she's very tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's been her height since she was 13. So
yeah, beautiful, and she's adopted, so I could say that. She's better looking than anybody in our family. She's got great. But it just wasn't going to happen for her as much as I would like to have been able to make it happen.
yeah.
Well, and you said the same thing about your one son who was very good but hated auditioning.
Right. Yeah, my one son really never liked the process, but he was very good. He was on Broadway and he was, he did a number of commercials and did shows. Yeah, he was very good, but he really hated the auditioning process. And
just goes to show you then all the great ones become teachers.
Yeah.
there you go. Yep.
Well, the captive audience.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to tell you that I think that actors and lawyers and clergy people and teachers are all cut from the same piece of cloth.
I would agree 100%.
All get up in front of people and perform.
Yes.
Yep. And I remember just to really bring home this sense of your honesty, because you have to have difficult conversations with children, with parents. And I remember when I brought my daughter Bridget when she was 18 months old to your office. I don't know if you remember. And of course I'm a mom and she was adorable and I thought, oh, well, let's see. And I'm holding her and I walk in and you just go to take her out of my arms and she goes like this and you go, no.
It's true. It's true.
You didn't mince words. You're like, nope, not happening.
Usually it's babies from a big family where they're used to being passed around from person to person and they feel very secure that way. And they do the best. I don't know if any of you saw the Broadway show, The Ferryman, but
I didn't.
There's a baby in that. And the baby has to be willing to sit on a darkened stage on a blanket all by themselves when one of the scenes opens.
Wow.
And that's how they auditioned them. And, 20, 30 babies out of.
And not crawl away
And just sit there and not scream. And they went through baby after baby after baby to come up with the babies that would do that. And mostly they were babies from big families or babies where they had a number of people taking care of them and they were just comfortable with that situation.
Yeah, but I just remember that was just so funny. And then, can a parent sabotage a career?
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think a parent actually goes in thinking that what they're doing, like, what are some of the, like, we know the typical screaming nut job, but.
Yeah, they think they're doing the best for their child. When a child is given direction by a director and the parent wants to make improvements on that. No, you do what the director suggests. You don't, your mother doesn't know better.
No.
Parents who just are so aggressive and not very nice to other parents, other people, because they're watching those parents from the moment they walk through the door, not when the child goes into audition. The whole time they see how they interact in the waiting room with other people. It's as much about hiring a parent as it is about hiring them. Once they want to hire the child, they have to see if they want to hire the parent.
And I think it's, you can have a situation where there's a child who really, really wants to be an actor and wants to be in the business, but the parent has so much stress and anxiety about the process themselves that they put undue pressure on the child, and that comes out in their auditioning process. And so that can sabotage them, even though they're not really doing anything wrong. They're just really anxious.
The pressure on, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's pressure on.
From parents saying, don't tell my son that I called you, but is there anything more you can tell me about this? I'm so nervous. The child's fine. The parent is a wreck. So, that's tough. Yeah.
Nancy, who's more hardcore, the stage dads or the stage moms? Like where?
Stage dads are the worst. They are worse than stage because they
sure.
give like their business.
That's right. They always think they know best, for sure.
Absolutely always think they know better. They don't roll with the punches. This, Roseanne, they can have an audition set up and then for some reason the director can't be there and they cancel the audition. And it doesn't matter where you're coming from or what your parent had to give up to get you there. The audition is canceled. Fathers don't get that at all. They don't get it. They have a hairy fit and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't change it.
Yeah. Nancy, I have to tell you that, Deborah Jean Templin is watching.
Oh, hey, Deborah Jean.
Yeah. And I just told the story about Bridget and she just wrote in the messages, she wrote, I blew it.
Oh.
So, but it's really just amazing all the kids that you've had and the careers that you've helped get going. I mean, some really notable
Yep.
I just want to say something, Nancy. When Roseanne begged me, she said, "You know how hard I worked for this when she was little." I was under the misconception that you had to be a professional child, and I'm like,
You have to start somewhere.
dance. She didn't have singing. She had nothing. So, we made our way. It was a long story, but the day she auditioned, we're making our way into the stage door. And a mother with her daughter said to the daughter, "Say hello to so-and-so, the stage manager." And I looked at Roseanne and I said, "There's your Annie." I figured this kid knows her way around.
No. You know what? Now Marty. Marty didn't like those slick kids whose parents were telling him what to do. He, God rest his soul. I loved him.
Oh.
And he really wanted the rough and tumble regular kids who happened to be hugely talented. He didn't want those cutesy dance for grandma kind of kids.
Right, and that's what she was, but she was able to pull it off as
Yep.
Well,
she could.
Yeah, I had my hair in pigtails for the audition, and he goes, "Wear your hair down next time."
Right.
No, first audition you didn't.
It was down. Did he ask me to wear it up? I don't remember.
I don't know, but the second time
He said to do something with my hair.
Maybe
He didn't.
Long hair. I remember when they had to cut it.
Yeah, I was excited getting it cut and dyed.
Right. Yeah.
So we have a little segment that we do called Chris Does It. Chris,
Oh, you want to do Pepper Gets Peppered?
you want to do Pepper Gets Peppered?
Yeah.
Explain to Bonnie and Nancy what it's all about.
Yeah, well, I just asked Roseanne a series of, I just pepper her with questions. Obviously, she's Pepper, right? So I try to work it around, somewhat around the topic. And today's topic is going to be the Child Star Edition. You guys are going to know the answers like right away. I'm thinking I might get Roseanne on a couple of these.
Okay.
I'm going to stump her. So
Go for it.
So we don't answer.
Well, let's see if Roseanne gets it, and then we'll go to you guys.
Okay.
All right. This child star was the youngest person ever to host Saturday Night Live at 7 years old.
Drew Barrymore.
Well, Yeah, you didn't even let me finish.
I didn't, because I'm a Drew Barrymore fan.
Well done.
I have to tell you that I was at one of the early screenings of E.T. because I had Robert McNaughton, who played the older brother in
Oh,
E.T.
that's right.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore and her mom were sitting in front of me, along with the families of the other Henry Thomas and Robert, and that was when it was still called E.T. the Extraterrestrial,
Yeah.
and little flipper in her teeth, and yeah, I totally remember.
Yeah.
She's made that career, right?
Oh, she sure did.
Yeah. All right. You ready for number 2?
Ready.
This child star started at 7 years old as the son of a sheriff and later played the best friend to Arthur Fonzarelli.
Ron Howard.
That's right. Famous correct.
Your questions stink.
These are child stars. I wasn't trying to make them too hard. Last week she had a very bad week.
Oh, I had a bad week. He stumped me bad last week. It was tough. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna try to ask you a harder one. This actress at the age of 8 years old made her Broadway debut as young Cosette in 1995. And then she went on to play the original little girl in Ragtime. Go ahead. Let's hear it, Judy. What you got?
It's not Leah Salonga?
No. No. She was in Miss Saigon.
Oh. Okay.
Leah Michelle.
That's correct.
Oh, yes.
I put her at that.
You did?
Yeah. See, I made it somewhat relevant, Judy. How can you-
Yes, you did. I sit corrected.
Yes, you had Leah Michelle. You had Ben Affleck, which I did not know.
Really?
Well, Ben Affleck was
Britney Spears.
Matt Damon
Brittany.
friends. Brittany
Rick
Spears,
on.
Leah, Cynthia Nixon,
Right.
who ran for governor this last year. I'm so proud of her for doing that. So many. Ariana Grande,
Mandy Moore.
Andy Moore,
I love Mandy Moore.
yeah, lovely, from Florida.
Who did
Yeah.
Kristen Bell.
Yeah, Kristen Bell, who
Wow.
was Michigan and had a hard time getting to New York. This is when you had to come to New York for auditions, and she was so talented. And she would fly in, and sometimes one of us would pick her up at the airport. So, yeah,
Did good.
lovely.
Love her.
They
She's
did
girl.
good.
Many,
All right,
many.
You ready?
I don't list. I've got Matt LeBlanc. I put LeBlanc in his first series. Ben Stiller, I put him in a soap opera, his first job. I could go on and on.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
That's
That's a
amazing.
lengthy list.
It is a lengthy list.
Bonnie, who was in The Burning. Hello.
Bonnie was in the.
She
Simon.
put me in it, yes.
Yeah, I put her in it.
Yeah, see?
Was it hard being a mom and an agent?
Yes.
Because you
Yeah.
kind of have to wear both hats there, and I'm sure the emotion is.
Yeah. Most people didn't know I was her mother.
Oh, okay.
I used my maiden name, Carson. She used her father's name, Deroski. Somehow, when we started the agency, Marion, who was my business partner, his last name was Finkelstein, mine was Deroski, and somehow Deroski Finkelstein just didn't have the right sound. So I went to Carson, and she went to her mother's maiden name, Adler, and we tossed a coin for which name was going to come first.
Oh, is that how it happened?
That's how it was, Carson Adler. Yep. And I kept her on there. She died a number of years ago now, probably 25, more than that, of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. But had worked really hard to get she had a 2-year-old little boy, Aaron. Worked hard to get the agency going, and I just felt like I wanted to keep her name on it forever.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, speaking of names, I remember coming to you when our first meeting, and I said to you, well, what about Rosanne's last name? Do I have to change it? And you said to me, no, it's a beautiful last name. You don't have to
Right.
change it. You know, I always thought you had to have a stage name.
No,
There's a lot of things
no.
I didn't
The
know.
only time I suggest changing a name is if it's a very, very difficult last name. I have a young woman with me now. Her name is Stephanie Mason in the business. Her name is Stephanie Iannarino, but nobody can spell Iannarino, let alone pronounce it when they see it written. And so we just decided when she started that it was probably better to look for, and that was her mother's maiden name. So we looked for another name for her.
Well, Rosanne wouldn't have wanted my maiden name.
What was your maiden
It
name?
was Lambiezo.
Wasn't that bad?
That's hard. Yeah. No, Sorrentino is a lovely name and it suits you and
It
There's
rings. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It is.
name.
So
It's like Deroski. My kids worked as Deroski. There was nothing wrong with it. It was easy to pronounce and it pronounced.
easy to pronounce, easy to
That's
spell.
Yep,
And, yeah.
that's the big deal.
We were the only Deroskis in the business, so
Right. And you were the only Sorrentino.
At the time, but then
Oh.
along came the situation, Sorrentino, and
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
smeared the name. you know.
Right.
People are like, are you related to Mike the Situation? I'm like, no. No,
I
I'm
know.
not.
Brando would have been a good name. We could've-
Brand-
And Chris reminds me of Jeremy Renner.
Oh, geez.
He just does.
So wait, he's got, what do you got? 2 more questions?
I got 2 more.
All right,
I'll
come on.
do
Give
something quick.
me-
All right, this former teen idol performed in the 70s with his older brothers, earning several top 10 hits.
Oh, see.
I can keep going.
Go ahead.
He later had a TV show and starred in Broadway in the lead role. You know who he is yet?
No.
And then he recently won Dancing with the Stars season 9. Did I stump all of you?
Oh,
No, Bonnie's
oh,
got
I know who that is.
Who is
Yeah.
Bonnie?
Tony Osmond.
yeah.
Donnie.
Oh, how did I not know that? I love
Just
Donnie.
talking about
But
that.
if you're
Rosanne.
watching, Donnie, I got it. Okay.
Donnie, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Do you know Donny Osmond? Because I have a story.
Well, Bonnie,
We've met him.
spent the day with him.
We're trying to get Donnie on the show, Judy.
What?
I said we're trying to get Donnie on the show. You can't say anything bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We spent a day with Donny Osmond on the set of a film because my client was playing his daughter, and it was kind of Bonnie's dream come true because she, like all little girls her age,
Idol. He was
was a big Donny Osmond fan.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to tell something out of school now, but we had a gerbil named Donnie that was for Donny Osmond.
Sure, Donnie would be very flattered to know that.
I'm sure.
Well, my story was even better, but I won't tell it.
Don't tell it. We're trying to get Donnie on the show. Stop it.
Well, he might remember. I think he thought I was a stalker, and I really wasn't. Cincinnati, and him and his family I was in this store, and I happened to see him and his wife, and they were in the baby department, and they're looking at all little baby stuff, and I said, oh my God, the girls, they were being in school at the time, being tutored, and I thought, oh my God, if I could get him just to come up and say hello to the girls, they'd go wild, and I'm never this bold, but I wanted it so bad. I approached him, and I tried to introduce myself, and I said, the girls would really love it if you could come and just say hello. And he looked at me and he went, no. I was like,
Nice, Donnie.
I just
Nice.
Donnie, it's okay. We understand.
See, I
And
get
he's a really nice man. We really,
very
the day-
He
Yeah.
probably thought I was a
he's
weird.
very real, very nice man, not put on at all.
No, I mean, he was approachable, but again,
Yeah, a very nice man.
he didn't trust my motives, maybe.
Or maybe his wife was intent on doing something.
Whatever.
Never know.
I tried. I would have,
Well, that was nice of you to try,
oh,
Mom.
thank you.
Did a good
All
job.
right. We
All
got
right, bro, I
one
need
more
you to-
question.
I need you to pay real good attention to this question.
Go ahead, Chris.
This actress made her professional stage debut at the age of 11. A resident of Long Island, she currently performs stand-up, hosts the show, and is a proud member of the DCRP according to her Wikipedia page.
Oh,
Who could that
be? Could that be?
His.
Oh, that's me.
Hold on.
say Amy Sorrentino?
Look at that.
There you
put
are.
my picture on Brittany. Now, could you show Nancy who that really is? Show Nancy and Bonnie who that really is.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm doing it.
He's over the top.
This has been in every episode so far. He's managed
Okay.
to get this in.
There she is.
Brittany,
It's Brittany. It's
are you a
Brittany.
Brittany fan?
He's a huge fan of Brittany.
Are you kidding me?
She's very lovely. She's
She's
really
been in every show.
She's been
Okay,
in
well,
brought that everywhere. It's very fun.
show coming up with her music.
You
But
what?
What?
There is a Broadway show in the works that is done around her music.
Really?
Yeah, maybe
Whoa.
Once
I
upon a one more time. Once upon a one more time. It's like a fantasy with
it's
princes.
about fairy tale princesses, and but it's comedy and it uses her music. It's very clever.
Oh,
Right.
that's very cool, actually. I'm
Yep.
not usually a fan of that type of
I'm
stuff.
going. I'm 100% going.
Brittany's going.
There's no doubt.
He's already
Okay.
got the ticket.
Well, it's in the works when we had the brakes put on everything, but it's definitely in the works.
Well,
Well, that's great. That's a great lead in to one of the questions. Like, how are you coping now with the COVID? How are you guys handling this? Are you doing lots of Zooms? I mean, when are auditions coming back? When do you see anything happening?
I don't know. Right now, there's absolutely no money coming in. None. Yeah, none. I think we won't see theater come back until after the first of the year. I hate to say it, but I think that we won't see that because of the crowds. We're seeing some film and television.
Yeah, there's definitely some television stuff. I mean, we had a kid like a week and a half ago do a producer session on a Courtney Cox project.
We had
There's
some Nickelodeon thing
a
where
Nickelodeon thing. Yeah.
from their house with the director not there, but telling them how to do it with their cell phone. But very, very, very little so far. But
And
that
looking to fall. Really looking to fall.
Of
Yeah.
course.
so I mean,
all this free
really, I've
time.
been around a while and I have a cushion. I hate spending it, but I'm still paying my people who work for me, my help, my staff. But it's
It's tough, yeah, sure.
It is. It's a very difficult time, which is why I'm really happy to be a part of that. The thing that they're doing next Wednesday with the to benefit the Actors Fund.
Actors Fund is wonderful. Rosanne, I sit on the committee. It's called Looking Ahead Committee
Mhm.
of the Actors Fund, and it's for young people in the business. They just started it in New York about a year and a half ago, maybe. And they're doing some wonderful things. Up before all of this COVID, they had asked me what we really needed in New York for kids. And I said, well, one of the things we need for kids doing Broadway is a place for the parents to be able to go while their kids are doing the show, or a place for the kids and parents to go between shows
Mhm.
that doesn't cost them money, because parents were all going and sitting in one of the hotel lounges or going to a restaurant and taking the kids to restaurants. And so now there is a room, and once your child is in a Broadway show and they have the contract, they can get a fob to get into this room. And it has internet and refrigerators and bathrooms and desks and comfortable chairs and TVs. And it's a place, and bless the Actors Fund, because it's all free for these families.
That's nice.
It's nice.
Then doing things like having get-togethers with the kids, and even now they're doing some Zoom get-togethers with the professional kids. It's a wonderful committee, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. It includes principals of the professional performing arts and professional children's school. It includes Alan Simon, who runs On Location Education. It includes a group of us who are interested in the welfare of young people, and that's all the Actors Fund. And there's no charge for any of it for the kids.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's a wonderful committee. It's a wonderful group.
That is great. Nancy and Bonnie, I can't tell you how much it means to me that you guys joined us tonight. And I really appreciate it. It's just amazing seeing you guys, and just after all these years still, I feel like no time has passed, really.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys do phenomenal work with kids in a business that can be very, very difficult. And I'm actually really happy that our paths crossed when I was a child. I don't know that my experiences would have been what they were had it been someone else, you know, different in the driver's seat of my career, so to speak. And while it maybe didn't turn out like I thought it was gonna, that's okay too. I think everything happens for a
Well,
reason.
This row, I'm very proud.
Well,
I'm
thank
proud of what you're doing as a teacher because you're bringing this to other young people. And I'm proud of you for what you're doing now, and you're getting you to stand up, and you've always had that wonderful comic timing and that quick wit, and it, you know, your mom has it too. And so you're using it. And I'm proud of you.
Well,
very,
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. That means a lot. And I am enjoying myself. And that's really, at the end of the day, the most important part is if you're
Yep.
doing things that you love and you enjoy, then you're fulfilled.
That's why when people say, are you going to retire? Why would I retire? They're going to carry me out. I love what I do. I love it. I love the kids. I love the parents. I love the business. I love the thrill of seeing somebody open on Broadway that I knew was going to get there.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
Nothing like it.
nothing.
No.
Well, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
I'll be talking to you because we're on Facebook. So,
Oh, sure.
you know, again, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for coming on and talking and just giving people a peek into, you know,
Yeah, it's a
What
whole
it
world
takes.
people don't know.
It was good reminiscing with you. It kind
It's
of
fun.
brought me back to that.
Really
that
fun.
time.
Yep.
It was good. Thank you.
all right. So thank you. And hopefully, I hope that everything opens up soon for you so you guys can get back to work
Oh,
and doing what you guys do the best. So thank you so much.
I,
Big hug.
Ladies.
All right, I'm going to stop their video. And oh, there's Nancy. She's still on. I'm stopping her. Bye, Nance. So,
That's exciting.
yeah, that was cool.
I think she's going to probably, you know, slip you a note and say, I want you to audition.
Are you getting misty again?
No, me? No. No, that was just really great though. You know, my mother obviously remembers a lot more because
Oh, I could have gone on and on. And
I
on
was
and on.
young, but yeah, but I remember a lot of, I remember Bonnie when she was, you know, a kid. I remember.
I don't remember Bonnie. I
I-
might not have ever met her. I don't know. That's
Judy, I have a question for you. So we're talking about like stage moms and stage dads and stuff. Like, where did you find yourself in that world when you looked at other parents and were like, what the heck? Like, you know, that kid has much more experience because even that little story you told, you
yeah.
kind of almost like eyeballed up, like, oh, that kid's gonna get the part. Like, what, what's going on?
Well, that faded after you know she got that part because I realized that you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars. You know, I went to a dance school when I knew she was going to audition, and I went to a dance school and I had the dance teacher work out a routine for her, and it became a fiasco. And I ended up saying, you know, forget this. You know, we'll just wing it. And that day, the choreographer, who was very famous, Peter Gennaro, he had a little something that he did and he wanted the girls to follow, and she followed. And that's when I realized you really don't have to spend a lot of money in dancing schools on costumes and all that sort of stuff.
Unless you want to be a professional dancer,
Well,
but
if you want to be, but you know, there are other ways to do it. But I just realized that she had a natural talent and it was going to come out, and you know, I didn't have to sweat it. I didn't have to run around and get her acting lessons and singing lessons, and
I was just born dramatic.
well, I
That
mean,
would have been a good question. And again, now shame on me for not thinking about that. Like, I wonder if Nancy and Bonnie, do they look for kids that can do all of that, Judy? Like you just said, like, do you want the well-rounded kid? Do you want the kid who's just who has a wow factor, or somebody who can dance and sing and act, and it's the whole package all together? Or
Kind of depends on what they're looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in Annie, she could sing, she could act, she had timing, you know.
Right.
So she had everything, but maybe in a dramatic play, they just want someone. Now I'm watching something on Apple TV. I'll give a cheap shot. It's called Defending Jacob. The boy on that, he's probably, I think he's like 17, but he's playing a 13-year-old. He's phenomenal acting. I mean, he's phenomenal. I'm sure he can't sing. Maybe he can, maybe he can't.
Right.
But to act, he's got it. He's got, you know, the acting gene. So, you know, it's just, and it's truthfully, it's being in the right place at the right time. That day long ago, I picked up the phone and I because everybody was on me going, did you call them? Did you call them? Because they were supposed to call her back in the spring to audition for the play or something. And they didn't. And everybody said, did you call? Did you call? Well, I picked up the phone. I mustered up my courage. I said, you know, my daughter, blah, blah, blah. She was supposed to get called. Well, we're just casting for the role of Annie, but you know, you can bring her in. And I went, she's never going to get Annie. I'm thinking orphan, you know, well, because I'm thinking you
Of
had
course.
to be very professional.
Right.
And she got, you know, but it just timing and just the fact that, you know, she
And
was-
you heard Nancy, she said that, you know, you could look like somebody that the director hated in 5th grade. It's just so, it's so subjective.
Mhm. It's what they had for lunch that day. If it was good, they're happy. You know, if not, you don't get the part. Get out of here. My sandwich sucked. Are we still on?
We're still on.
Oh.
We're gearing up for you know what.
Oh, I think it's time to say sayonara. Adieu.
She's not doing her gems. She's really, you're gonna get fired. I swear.
My contract says if there's time. I'm like Matt Damon. If you don't have time for me, you know, you don't have time for me.
Oh, I
I don't wanna-
can't.
I
I
don't-
can't. How? Well, I don't even know how long we've been on. We've only been on an hour.
Well, I mean, you know, people. Do we still have people? Or did
We
they-
have people. Yes, yes.
Yeah, 15
They
people.
want Judy. Do
You
you
have to
want?
give them. You have to give the people what they want. This is
And they want Judy's gems.
But always leave them wanting
Yeah,
more.
well, you don't want to leave them, you know, when they're expecting Judy's gems. Come on.
It's not. Look,
okay. Here we go. Bring it.
I have a rough time of things, you know. Things don't come easy to me, and I'll tell you why. Here's the deal. Have you ever heard the song "Mr. Cellophane"? It's from Chicago, the movie. You know, Mr. Cellophane. You can see right through
Cellophane,
me, you
Mr.
know.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm Mrs. Cellophane, really. I'm beginning to think I don't exist. You know, when I go to the supermarket at the cold cut counter, they go, next, I'm right there. I'm right there. Next. And then when I, you know, try to make myself noticeable, you know, they get, well, you know, don't get excited. Don't get excited. I get a lecture along with my cold cuts. But anyway, you know, if I'm with a group of my friends, go out to lunch, the waitress almost forgets to take my order, you know, but she does, but then she forgets to bring the order. I mean, I don't get the straw. Everybody else gets the straw. I don't. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. And then the ultimate insult happened the other day. I just discovered that I have Siri on my phone. You know, I thought it was an app or something. I didn't know it's on the phone. So I said, Siri, and nothing happened. Amy said to me, you have to say, hey, Siri. I said, oh, hey, Siri. And I asked her a question. I said, you know, how long will it take me to get home? And Siri said to me, I don't even know who you are. See? So Amy said, oh, wait, okay, I got to put your information in. So she puts my information in and she said, now try it again. All right. Hey, Siri. And again, I asked the question And she said, with an attitude, by the way,
Well,
I
she's mad.
don't even know who you are. I don't know anything about you. Even technology has it in for me. I'm telling you.
What are you gonna do?
Even when I order something online, it never shows up. It
Really?
never shows up. I ordered something, I guess it was coming from China. It must be out in the middle of the Atlantic somewhere. I'm never going to see it, even though I paid for it. You know, I ordered from CVS. They said it'll be delivered on the 27th, which was yesterday. Never got it. The car place where I just bought my car, he said, oh, I'm going to overnight you the paperwork. Overnight came and went. It's 2 days now. I'm invisible.
I think everybody's feeling a little invisible during quarantine.
Don't try to make me feel better. This has been a lifelong thing. This just didn't happen during the COVID-19. This has been forever. I don't know what it is. Is it my height? I'm 4'11". Could that be?
I don't know. It could be your height.
But anyway,
Well,
that's
let me ask you a question. Can you see over the counter of the cold cut thing? Are they like looking down like, don't they give you a number? 71.
yeah, well, even with the number, I'm
My
standing.
mother,
That's me.
she's not
71,
bold.
71.
She's not bold. That's the problem.
I try
And
to
then
know
when you
my
try to
place.
be bold,
Comes off wrong.
it comes off really
It does.
snarky,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Far be it from me to be snarky.
Snarky. But you know, like when I get the number at the deli counter, you know, because you know,
What's your secret? Tell me.
well, Stop and Shop, it takes so long. It like you could be waiting there, and so
You
then
gotta
they'll call like, you know, number 35, and I'm like, bingo! And I make a freaking scene.
Yeah, but you know, she's cute. She can get away with it. I'm just old. It's that crabby old woman again, you know. And you see, I do nice things. When I got really good service at the cold cut counter from a young fellow, I made it my business to go tell them at customer service how
There you
to
go.
do
That's
this.
nice.
See, but it, you know, it never comes back to me in a good way.
So
There we go.
somebody is asking Patty BB
Angelic.
Koncelik, I don't know if I said that right. Does your mom have a cooking show? No, Patty, she does not, but she should. This woman made a chicken piccata tonight that she maybe could get a job at Genoa, Chris.
No problem. I know the chef.
She
I got fired.
made a great chicken piccata. I mean, honestly,
It's simple.
just amazing.
See,
So,
that's where I belong, in the kitchen, not at the cold cut counter.
you
Just
know,
keep me hidden.
or behind the camera, Ma. You're in front of the camera, rather. You're very good on the camera. You're very good.
Well, I enjoy it. I enjoy being a spectator.
Well,
mostly.
we enjoy having you on, and
Thank
other
you.
people.
But Chris, your job is safe. I'm not coming back.
Well, we
Okay.
have gems, so that's really all we need. It's great. I love the gems. So Chris,
true.
we're taking a week off,
You take a break for a week.
but we're not doing the show. But we're gonna be
Yes, you and I are doing something.
we are
Last
plans
week we promised
in the
people-
works.
Last week we promised people, if you remember, that in 2 weeks we're gonna have something.
Yes,
We got to kind of work on this whole thing.
we have
Oh.
to work on that.
I'm
And
curious.
yes. And oh my, Patty said with capers. I didn't have capers, Patty.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's
I didn't have capers.
So I put fresh
told me this. Patty knows. Patty BB knows.
She does, and I put she did. She took my fresh parsley that I'm growing in my little outdoor
Little,
garden pot. Parsley, basil, and oregano, Mr. Grando.
listen, that's fine. What else do you need?
Tomatoes, maybe. I love tomatoes, but I
I'm
could get a
growing
tomato plant.
I'm growing tomatoes.
Oh.
My sapling.
Tomatoes are later in the season anyway. You can't. They're not taking.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, so I'm gonna miss you next week, but we're gonna be in contact because we're working on some stuff.
Yes,
You're
we are.
gonna work on getting more TikTok followers than Oliver Dave.
Not happening. I got no content. I have. Well, let me just say, I have nothing relevant for. It's, everything's young. I'm
You're
just.
very funny. You're very
Listen,
funny.
you just have to put, dads of TikTok and dads over 50. There's a whole audience for you.
I don't.
You're not looking in the right places.
I don't know the hashtags. That's what I'm telling you. And my kids, they're like, no, we're embarrassed that you even put
All right,
stuff
well, I can help you with the hashtags. I know the hashtags.
up, right? Then where
You
were
know?
you? What happened?
So
I have a couple up there. I
I've
think
got the hashtags.
one of them's funny.
What, yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You're very funny.
You were funny. I thought you were very funny.
You're very funny.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So we're gonna show those when we come back. Everybody, you're gonna get to see what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen some of Chris's videos, his quarantine series. They're very clever. They're very funny.
Thanks.
They are.
They really are. And the man has costumes that most normal people
Probably,
don't
you know.
have in their closets. So that's a little concerning, perhaps.
It is. My daughter's friends are like, your dad has so much stuff. Like, where's he getting all of this stuff? I'm like, I just have stuff. A lot of it's because it's been generated through the DCRP. It really has.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah,
That is
yes,
true.
that
But
would be-
still,
That would be.
the karate, I don't know. Whatever.
Cobra Kai. That's going to be
Cobra
a
Kai,
great.
Cobra Kai.
When we pull off the Cobra Kai,
You did.
it's going to be fantastic. No, when we do the run.
Oh, the run.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to run again.
You know, because we're going to do it. Well, you're going to be in it now because you're part of the DCRP, but we're doing our short film with Danny Gargan.
Yeah.
Danny Gargan LaRusso, if you've seen Karate Kid, right? So it's gonna be fantastic.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're gonna sign off, folks. Thank you to everybody who tuned in this evening.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's greatly appreciated. There were some new people, but there are some people who watch every week, and I am Chris and I are greatly appreciative of that. It's so nice that you enjoy. Brace yourself. We enjoy doing it, and so we're gonna sign off. Remember, tomorrow night, look on my Facebook page. If you've been missing live comedy, we're gonna give you an opportunity to see some tomorrow, even though it's through Zoom. I'm gonna be able to hear you laugh, and I will make you laugh. And then next Wednesday, Q&A with the Annie Orphans for the Actors Fund. All of this can be found on my Facebook page. So that's it.
All right.
Good?
Good one.
Bye.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. It's wonderful seeing